Good day to you. My name is Maria Kądzielska Koper and we are shooting Poland Daily Culture. Today, again, we are going to talk about human rights, what's going on right now when it comes to the war in Ukraine. And with us on Skype is an international expert and a writer, Aaron Rhodes. Thank you very much for calling us.
My pleasure.
Aaron, you are an activist of human rights. For many years, you worked for the Helsinki Foundation, and you have a huge experience in working and fighting for the human rights in the world, and especially in Europe, in Chechnya, in Kosovo, in Asia as well. And right now, what we see is the threat of human rights, even here in Europe. In the previous episode, we finished with an open question. Is it true that the human rights end with the sphere of influence, American sphere of influence? What is your opinion about it?
I'm not really sure about this because I don't think it should end with the American sphere of influence. And but when you look at the world, you can't escape the conclusion, I think, that the countries that are allied with the United States, the countries really basically, the Anglosphere, as well as European countries, these are the countries that respect individual liberty. And I think these are the countries that buy into some of the basic moral standards of Western civilization. Western civilization is the one that attaches the most importance to individual freedom and constraining the power of the state, and the notion of bringing the laws of different nations into conformity with natural law. With the ultimate sources of morality.
And this brings us to the fact that right now, just very close to the border of the Western world, which sort of is the border of European Union, we see a war, a full-time war, a full-scale war. Previously, all the geopolitical experts just 2 or 3 years ago, they were saying all the time that a full-time war is not possible. Maybe we will have information war, hybrid wars, but not a normal normal war where soldiers fight on the ground. And they fight for the piece of land, piece by piece. But it's happening, it's right now, it's out there, just very close to our border. Planes are still not flying. The further you can fly is to Rzeszów. You cannot fly further. Most of the Ukrainians fly to Warsaw and they take trade to Kiev. And it's going on, and as I see right now, there is no end to it. And the human rights are also broken in such spheres that we know that Russians are, for example, kidnapping huge amounts of Ukrainian children, that they are creating those camps for people on the occupied territories. It looks like the World War II back again. And everything what we learned as a humanity for last 100 years, or like 80 years, it's gone.
Well, I'm afraid that one of the reasons why nobody believed such a thing could happen is the human rights movement, because the human rights movement has been responsible for inculcating a lot of illusions about progress in the world, that the nations of the world coming under this umbrella of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights were all in the process of transformation, and that this global legal system would somehow unify the world and bleach out of humanity all of these negative tendencies of aggression and domination and the urge to control the civil population. And the fact is that today, I mean, the situation of liberty around the world is worse than it was 10 years ago. I was reading recently that there's only like 7 countries in Africa that have anything approaching a democracy. There's 54 countries in Africa, something like this. I mean, so, but I think the thing we should remember, though, is illusions are bad. So if we can get rid of these illusions and deal with the world as it is, we can better protect ourselves and help protect other people.
And this is a very important punchline which we finished this episode with. And this is also very important to hear it from you, Aaron, you who worked on human rights for so many years, and you have this huge experience of seeing the world, of transforming from one thing to another, page by page, let's say. And thank you very much for this conversation and selling this all to us. We will talk more about your new book in the next episode. And to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture, we see a new world, and we see a world, and I do hope that we will try to look at the reality of it right now, because it's very important for us, especially in the region of Eastern and Central Europe, to see how things are going on, because we can also bring the aid to people who are who human rights have been broken, and who very often the lives have been broken, and those are mostly the Ukrainians. So to all of you, thank you very much for watching our show.